At airports, check-in screens went dark. Hospital staff switched to paper. Television studios lost automation, banks reported service problems, and public agencies struggled with ordinary tasks. The common image was a Windows computer trapped on a blue error screen. Yet this was not a cyber attack. On July 19, 2024, a routine content update from cybersecurity company CrowdStrike triggered crashes on certain Windows machines running its Falcon sensor. The defective update was corrected in less than 90 minutes, but the damage did not disappear with the fix. Many computers could not boot far enough to receive it. A small change inside a trusted security system had become a global operational crisis. The outage exposed a contradiction at the center of modern computing. The software designed to protect critical machines also needs enough privilege to stop those machines when something goes wrong. CrowdStrike's Falcon platform is endpoint security software. Organizations install a sensor on laptops, workstations, and servers so it can watch for suspicious behavior and respond quickly. On July 19 at 4:09 Universal Time Coordinated, CrowdStrike released what it called Rapid Response Content for Windows Sensors. This was not a full Windows update, and Microsoft did not create or distribute it. It was a CrowdStrike configuration update intended to help the sensor collect information about possible new threat techniques. Windows computers without the affected CrowdStrike software were not part of this incident. Neither were Mac or Linux systems. Even among Windows machines, impact depended on the Falcon sensor version and whether a computer received the content during the vulnerable window. That distinction matters. The world did not lose every Windows computer. It lost a smaller but unusually important set of enterprise machines at almost the same time. To understand the crash, think of the Falcon sensor as a security guard standing inside the operating system rather than outside the building. Endpoint protection must observe processes, files, memory activity, and system events as they happen. It may need to block malicious code before that code can hide, spread, or damage data. That speed requires deep access, including components that operate close to the Windows kernel, the core layer coordinating memory, hardware, and essential services. Deep access makes security tools effective, but it also raises the consequences of failure. CrowdStrike's later root cause analysis said the July content passed validation even though it contained problematic input data. When the sensor interpreted that content, missing checks allowed an out-of-bounds memory read. The exception was not handled safely, and Windows stopped the system with a blue screen. The crash was the operating system protecting itself from unstable kernel-level behavior, not evidence of an attacker taking control. The technical failure was not simply that one mysterious file shut down the internet. The content traveled through CrowdStrike's normal cloud delivery system and was loaded by sensors already installed inside customer environments. Multiple safeguards failed together. A content validator accepted data it should have rejected. Runtime checking inside the sensor did not safely contain the unexpected input. And the update reached a broad population quickly. CrowdStrike removed the problematic content at 5:27 Universal Time Coordinated, 78 minutes after release. Computers that had not connected during that period avoided the defect. But machines that had already crashed faced a different problem. They were stuck in a boot cycle. The corrected content existed in the cloud, yet a computer that could not finish starting might never stay online long enough to receive it. The rollback solved distribution. It did not automatically repair every endpoint that had already failed. That gap between fixing the source and restoring the fleet explains the long recovery. Some systems recovered after repeated restarts because they briefly connected and received the corrected content. Many others required authorized technicians to enter a recovery environment, remove the affected CrowdStrike content, and restart the machine. Microsoft also released a recovery tool to help organizations automate parts of the process. But automation had limits. Devices protected by BitLocker could require recovery keys. Remote systems might be unreachable. Servers in locked rooms, airport kiosks, medical workstations, and employee laptops all had different owners and access constraints. In large organizations, administrators had to identify affected machines, prioritize critical services, verify each repair, and then deal with the operational backlog created while systems were offline. The update moved globally in minutes. Human recovery moved computer by computer. The consequences appeared wherever Windows endpoints were tied to time-sensitive operations. Airlines and airports lost access to check-in, dispatch, scheduling, baggage, and customer service systems, forcing delays, cancellations, and manual processing. In England, the NHS said an appointment and patient records system used by many general practices was disrupted. Staff relied on paper records, handwritten prescriptions, and phone procedures. Financial institutions reported interruptions to payments, applications, trading tools, or customer access in several countries. Broadcasters including Sky News and Australia's ABC experienced production or transmission problems, demonstrating how much live media depends on computer automation. Public services were also affected, from government offices and courts to emergency support systems and local administration. Not every organization failed in the same way, and many continued essential operations through contingency plans. But the pattern was consistent. When a shared digital dependency stopped, people immediately fell back to paper, phones, cash, handwritten documents, and face-to-face coordination. Why did a defect affecting a fraction of Windows machines create such visible disruption? Concentration. CrowdStrike is widely used by large enterprises, while Windows remains central to business computing. The affected machines were not randomly distributed across home computers. They were concentrated in organizations that operate flights, hospitals, payments, newsrooms, logistics, and government services. A single company may also deploy the same security sensor across thousands of endpoints and servers. That standardization simplifies management and strengthens defenses, but it can create a common failure mode. In reliability engineering, a single point of failure is a component whose failure can stop an entire system. The CrowdStrike incident was broader than one physical component, but the principle applies. Many organizations depended on the same provider, the same delivery mechanism, and similar configurations. Diversity disappeared precisely where resilience needed separation. The lesson is not to remove endpoint security or freeze updates. Security products must change quickly because attackers change quickly. The lesson is to treat security updates as production changes with potentially system-wide consequences. Testing must cover not only expected data, but malformed inputs, boundary conditions, and failure behavior. Staged deployment should begin with limited groups, observe health signals, and expand only when systems remain stable. Customers need controlled rollout options so critical servers are not updated at the same moment as ordinary workstations. Rollback procedures must be tested before an emergency, and recovery tools must work when normal boot, networking, and remote management are unavailable. Organizations also need accurate hardware inventories, accessible encryption recovery information, offline communication plans, and practiced manual procedures. CrowdStrike said it would strengthen validation, add testing such as stress and fault injection exercises, improve error handling, and use more gradual deployment controls. Those are technical changes. The deeper requirement is operational humility. Assume that trusted software can fail. Resilience is measured after prevention fails. A company can have backups and still be unable to reach the machines that need them. It can have a rollback button and discover that crashed endpoints cannot receive the rollback. It can outsource critical protection and still retain responsibility for continuity. The practical response is layered: reduce common dependencies where possible, isolate the most critical services, maintain alternate workflows, rehearse recovery at scale, and know which systems must return first. On July 19, the defective content was available for only 78 minutes. Its consequences lasted much longer because software distribution is centralized, while repair is physical, local, and human. That is the larger lesson of the CrowdStrike outage. Modern infrastructure can spread one small change across the world with extraordinary speed. Unless organizations design for failure with the same urgency they design for efficiency, the next routine update can again become a global event. Subscribe to Critical Failure for more investigations into the decisions and systems shaping the digital world.